time. I wanted to proceed, but a lot of people didn't want to rock the boat, so we didn't rock the boat too much.
Did you work on any racism police chapter? We worked at the chapter, discrimination project or something with the chapter?
No, the discrimination response was a little different. That was John.
Didn't we do something about press releases on various things and statements?
Yeah, we tried to do press releases, but the problem was that going through the chain of command to make sure everybody who saw it or who needed to see it saw it and signed off on it, by the time it was done, it was old news, so it didn't have any effect. That was one of the things. Some of the work we did kind of escaped. Maybe we didn't do that much work. But I think that we kind of started the process where James Creel had somehow got a proposal from James Creel, or I think it came from James, and we worked it and reworked it about getting funding sources and setting up a program which eventually became the Multiracial Multicultural Institute.
Right.
But I had something to do with it along the way, but I certainly didn't formulate it to its final being. But it ultimately came from James Creel, the plan, and and how to do that. So
That was what became very important about that, and a few other things. But at that time during the local chapter were saying, NABWG is a nice theory. What do we have that's tangible that we can bring out to say this represents the organization? And that's what made it was so important that the Institute and the Resisting Racism Manual, two different things at two different times, it was something that someone can point to and say, we have done this piece of work here, and get our name out there too. That's what they were very important for.
Right. Well, that brings us to 1995 in Key West. And you were not, had you left the board by then? I think you had. I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I attended a board meeting there previous to the convention.
The one I missed.
I may have still been on the board at that time. I'm not sure. I only spent 2 years on the board, so I'm getting it a little mixed up.
What do you remember about that convention? Were you both there?
Yes. I don't remember much about that convention.
That's all right.
Other than it beautiful, it was hot. It was very hot. It was very hot.
And we stayed at a little cottage down the way. Nate and at the time my lover and myself, and we had to walk up. And by the time we got to the convention site, it was hot. And but I thought the convention was very good. It was a very close-knit convention. We were a very small quarters. I remember that. And I think one of the highlights for our fundraising, if I'm not mistaken, I think the fundraising committee did well. I think it was less than Tim, I'm not sure. But it did quite well. That stayed out of my mind mostly. It was financially well.
What about Cleveland, 96? That was the year you brought the motion on the name change back, right?
Right.
The chapter did.
Yeah, Cleveland.
It was far. Everything was spread out. So I remember that.
What year was that?
96?
Wait, the name change for our chapter?
No, for the national. Remember after Milwaukee, after the big thing in Milwaukee, there was sort of a gentleman's agreement not to bring the name change up again until more than half the chapters had changed their name. And by 96 they had. So Philadelphia, and I forget who your delegate was. Well, anyway, if you don't remember, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we can move on.
I know that we were against it. We wouldn't have been for it.
Oh,
Not the name change national.
No.
yeah, I think you were for it.
No, not,
You brought the motion. Well, anyway.
no, I think one of our members brought the motion,
Oh, okay.
but not the chapter. That-
Well, we can move to 97.
I know,
I think that's
no, I think
right.
I think
And
I
I think that's,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember,
Someone did not
somebody
vote the
bringing
way
that
they-
up, but I wasn't the co-chair.
Oh, we-
I think somebody voted their minds at the chapters.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
interesting.
I
This
think
is,
that's what it is. I think someone voted their minds.
this is some new
at the
history.
chapters.
Okay.
It happens occasionally.
Well, what about the last few years? 97 in Charlotte, 98 in Fort Lauderdale, leading up to your convention.
Was it Charlotte where we came back, and that's where we decided we were going to host the convention?
That's right.
Right, we carpooled down, right?
Yes.
And,
That's one of our biggest turnouts, too.
right, and we had several carloads, and we were so worked up about the convention. We talked all the way back about how we were going to sell it to the Philadelphia chapter, and that we were going to have the convention. And we were, in '99.
You'd already been awarded the convention.
No, we weren't awarded the convention. Was that the year before?
2 years, that was 2 years before.
Okay, know that Cleveland is where we drove to Cleveland too. We drove both ways. And it was Cleveland, because Cleveland would have been the year we would have thought about it.
Mm.
And in Charlotte, we would have submitted it. At Fort Lauderdale, we would have gave a preview.
Right.
Okay. So it was Cleveland that we talked all, I thought, okay. Cleveland was the year.
Yeah.
So, and those couple of years, we had a lot of members come to the chapter.
Mhm.
I mean, come to the conventions.
Yes.
And several years before that, we tried twice to get the convention, or I tried twice to get the convention passed. And each time we won by like half plus one a vote. And I said, we need at least 3/4 of the votes to
In
get
the local chapter.
the local chapter.
right.
Yeah.
And I said, otherwise, even though it's a simple majority, I said, I don't think we can do it both times. When we came back that following year from Cleveland, we sold it was unanimous, and we said we're going to go with it. So, and we had a successful convention.
So 98 was the year you touted it, and you had your men in revolutionary uniform, and
Right.
Nate.
Now, this was Betsy.
Yeah,
and
Nate, would
she
you like
was
to
in her-
describe your performance, or?
I paid $20 to have her outfit made. And we sold it for $100. We auctioned it off for $100.
You were Betsy Ross?
Yes, I was.
Not Betsy, it was a costume.
I see.
And, yes, and the hat and the dress, and I had black heels on, which I have to this day.
And we had a flag that was the 13-star flag on the one side, and we sang several patriotic songs. And on the other side, we had the gay flag, and Betsy turns out to be a lesbian, so when these gay stripes on the star, I want a flag instead of the star. And it was a smashing success. I mean, it looked like Greta Garbo or somebody with the photography.
And then our other members, Regis,
Regis,
and at the time Michelle, were all just speaking different good things about Philadelphia, whether it's South Philly or
And we did a little strip, and we had the Philadelphia T-shirts underneath, and Michelle came up, and
It was funny hearing a Canadian accent singing, hear ye, hear ye.
but it was a lot of fun. I mean, that's something I really enjoyed about Fort Lauderdale, because
We were so nervous going on stage,
Yeah.
so to say the least.
but it worked.
It was memorable.
We had a great time doing it.
So what about the convention itself? What about 1999?
Absolutely fabulous. One of the best. When I
The programming was just excellent, we had one of the best programs.
No, we worked long and hard, and
Oh,
Bob, Bob rules with an iron hand.
Now, let me...
Bob Williams, you're
let me
talking about.
back up and tell you that because initially we came in thinking about programming, and Bob had his blueprint for programming.
I think it's called another Jerry Mallon.
And we had some little ruffled feathers there initially about that. But Bob had a structure. Again, had a plan. And I think that we were probably still floating, waiting on people to decide we could get this person or not get this person aboard. And like, this is the date for this is the date for that. We together for these things and move on.
Yeah,
again.
definitely. You know, he was right down. And
As I was saying, like I call John an organizational queen. That's what
yeah, and it was good. It was needed. You know, and he was doing this from Florida.
Right.
And, you know, we had recruited him to be our co-chair, our chair. And so, you know, we knew he ran a successful convention in '94 in D.C. So we asked him if he would be our chair, and he agreed. And he said, I will agree as long as basically you do things my way. And so we did to the extent that we needed to. I mean, you know, when there were a couple of things that we did override him on. And like he had it all worked out. You know, he wanted the editor of the Philadelphia Gay News to be our opening speaker. And, what's his name?
Mark Siegel.
No, well, that's the editor, but what's his name? David, he spoke at the Milwaukee.
David Fair.
David Fair.
David Fair.
He called up and he says, John, he called Bob, and he says, Bob, if you have Mark Siegel open the convention, I will not only not be a participant, I will organize a boycott of the convention, and also the head of Colors, which is a black gay group. What's his name? Okay, he also was going to demonstrate with David Fair. And Bob gets on the phone, he says, John, when did I open up there? He says, I'm down here, I don't know what the political climate is up there. So I said, Bob, if you knew the editor of the PGN, the Philadelphia Gay News, he's not exactly, you know, he doesn't wave a flag for the black community.
That's for sure.
So he says, John, do whatever you have to do to smooth things out. So I wrote a letter to the editor in Bob's name, sent it fax to him or emailed it to him. Bob added a little thing at the end. But basically, we said it's due to the fact that we stand to lose two people who are key participants. The head of the White Caucus and the head of the Black Caucus are going to back out. And not only back out, but pick at the convention if you speak. We are therefore asking you to withdraw and no thanks. And so Bob put down also because of your tardiness in getting back to me, which smoothed it over a little bit. But that letter was sent to PGN. He did not speak, and we ended up getting the council, the Latino member of the council, Ortiz, to be the opening speaker, which was far better than Mark Siegel ever could have been. So it was a plus all the way around. Plus, we looked much better to the people of color community having backed down with Mark Siegel.
And not to mention, Councilman Ortiz has also come to our aid and spoken at other of our functions too because of that. So it was really beneficial for us. And it's ironic because Bob wouldn't have known that. Well, maybe he would have, but this is the same paper, PGN in Philadelphia, that was running discriminatory ads in their one ad section that, you know, no blacks, no whites, no, what was it like? If you're looking for somebody, blacks need not apply. And so he was the editor at the time, and we were in the process of suing that newspaper in the early stages of the organization.
It was in the early 80s.
Right. So, you know, our membership remembers that. You know.
That was one of the reasons why David Fair was adamant about that. So, So he was kind of a consciousness raising person.
Well, now you had several book readings at that, and as part of your program, didn't you? In stores.
I think Tina Bonnie's room. I think Hardy.
That's not my area of expertise.
Okay.
We had 3 authors there. We both had 2, and another one showed up.
Mm.
And I can't remember the 3 authors.
Well, what else do you remember from the convention that really strikes you? What was you were the co-chair, John. What?
John was
Me doing the rubber strut.
What was my involvement at the time? I really didn't have any official function at that at that time. I think that my biggest thing at that time was getting prepared for the talent show, I think.
And I missed it. I was at the airport. I had to pick somebody up, so.
That was probably one of my most memorable experiences I've ever had in a convention.
What did you do at the talent show?
I came in, I was in drag, and I had a green sequin dress on and flapper outfit, one of my favorites. So it was really fun, and I hadn't really done to that degree ever before, so it was fun.
Did you sing or dance?
No, I did a song for the time it was for my number in time. I did sing a song for him. Hopefully this year will be just as memorable. This year's talent show.
Anything else you want to add on 1999?
No, I think it was a great convention. We had a lot of fun, and we hope to do it again sometime. It made us stronger. Most conventions, well, not most, but some chapters don't come through a convention very well. But we came through with $3,000 plus. We had a Waiting to Exhale party in October. So we gave a member. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we're still working off of some of that money and some of the excitement.
We also had I really find it really good. We had the mayor of Philadelphia speak at our.
Right.
So we've had
Ed Rendell.
Right, Ed Rendell, right. So we've had 2 mayors speak at 2 different functions.
Yeah, the black mayor, Wilson Good, and no, he wasn't at a convention.
No, he was at an
He
anniversary.
was one of our banquets.
Do you think you did anything special in preparing for that convention, or with the chapter that allowed your chapter to grow and prosper by the convention rather than?
Oh, it did. It allowed us to grow.
Well, he's asking about. Well, I think what John, when he came back and asked everybody who's for this having a convention, and we just won by 1 vote. That was the difference, because in the end, with the support you get from your chapter, you know that maybe 2/3 of the people that are going to be your support are not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to get as much as you can possibly get to back you up when you have that function. And for John going out of his way to say, no, we need everybody. We can't have anybody waver that you got to be for it or not. And I think that's a lot has to do with it, because we don't want people to be exhausted doing a convention and then come back and take care of a chapter. And what's happened in a few chapters is that afterwards they fall apart because they've exhausted from what they've been doing. So I think that's one of the major things. Maybe the idea of knowing your city and knowing the people, important people of the city.
But I think it's also important that we had a theater of understanding that evening, one of the evenings, that Tuesday evening or something, and we had, it was early in the convention, so all the participants weren't there yet, and it was like 100 people, and about 50% were conventioneers, and the other 50% were from the community. And the theme of the convention was Building Alliances, Breaking Confines. I remembered it. And usually we stumble on it. But it brought the community together, which no other chapter or no other convention, I believe, had ever done before. So we thought that was one of the highlights.
Yeah. simply got our name out there again.
Now, since then, you reported this week that you're engaged, that your chapter's engaged in an aid project for
Right,
AIDS
Gary
victims in
Hines
Africa.
and Roger Townsend formed this AIDS, African AIDS Fund. And any money we get is put through the United Nations to a particular fund to help the eliminate AIDS on the continent of Africa. We co-sponsored a movie for the Gay Film Festival in Philly, and that was called Simon and I, and it featured Simon Nicoli and his longtime friend and activist, Bev Dickey or something like that, I forget the last name, and she produced the film and as a tribute to Simon, and it was very successful.
Anything you especially remember of the last few years from convention? Anything that stands out? Of course, this past year, your chapter has spearheaded a major change in the structure of the organization.
Right, that was Tyrone and I.
Tyrone Harvey.
And I last year proposed that we would form a restructuring committee, and we had basically what we consider a lot of the former leaders and present leaders of the national, and people who were outspoken about different issues at different times. And we were fortunate that basically everything we put forth was supported by the board. We had 3 plans, and the one plan out of the 3 was supported by the board, and that's the plan that won. And we basically think we succeeded in restructuring the national, hopefully doing away with the co-speakers and the House of Delegates to form the co-chairs running the meeting with the general membership. Well, the general membership meeting at a convention will change the dynamic where we have a strong board and the board makes policy and reports back to the general membership. And we have now national members can have 1 vote per person instead of forming a caucus. And the convention committee, or the conventions will be approved by the board as opposed to the House of Delegates. So I think that was successful, but it took a lot of people to make it happen, even here at the convention, or it wouldn't have gone through.
Well, let me ask you some general questions, and to some degree you may have answered these or touched on them, but how has being a member of this organization, locally or nationally, changed your lives?
I got that. I'm slow to move, but when I move, I move. But during the early part of the organization, like I said, I was very quiet, very laid back, like I said, the social aspect of my thing. But I was taking in intellectual information, but I wasn't really using it. It's like in the last 2 years, as I noticed my political side, other than talking to people one-to-one in other organizations and people that I meet, it took like 2 years when I started my new job that I was determined I was going to be an out black gay man. There was never going to be any doubt on any of those things. So when there's issues, and I work in the healthcare environment, and when there's issues that involve gay people, issue of blackness, question of why funding or something like this, cultural diversity, I'm on those issues right there. I want to know why I want to live in a Jewish facility. I want to know why there isn't people of color in positions of power in this Jewish facility. When we have, and I'm asking for cultural diversity, and I put that in the HR department, and she's very impressed about the organization and some of the literature I had given her, and they're really pushing for me to set up diversity workshops in my facility for me to lead them, which is not real, because you've got a whole motivation, and you can say this one, as John said, he said, you always act like you're so shy, but on these issues, you know everything, and you just can't keep you quiet. So And I've been very really excited about what happened at my job. And that's these directly from the BWMT and all my years from that. It just, these things that they came so naturally to the next thing I know, I'm bringing the resistant races, the manual, I'm bringing stuff that I have written, and I'm looking for articles and pamphlets on the internet and stuff like that. So, and then John and I have given a few, I already invited you once to come to work and give a workshop on the white privilege. I mentioned that to you all coming out. Of course, they didn't take that too well, but still.
I think being in the organization has given me the knowledge or the awareness to speak up when I hear racist remarks, sexist remarks, or homophobic remarks. Being in the housing industry, the housing assistance industry, I guess. There were people in the office, well, they don't do it anymore, but they would say, that client has AIDS, you have to watch. I say, excuse me, why should I have to watch out for that person with AIDS? As long as I'm not going to have sex with the person or I'm not going to exchange blood with the person, I have no reason to worry about it. Mm-hmm. And I do instant education. When racist things come up, I wait landlords, I challenge it on the spot. When some of my coworkers, black or white, like say sexist statements, I'll challenge them, or I'll say I don't need to hear that joke. And it's given me the courage and the awareness to face those things.
Well, you've obviously seen AIDS affect the organization. How do you personally see it having affected?
Maybe you can help it.
Well, I think AIDS has, it affected me several years ago when basically people were dropping like flies in our organization. And it got to the point where I was writing editorials, obituaries for the newsletter, and I couldn't write anymore. And I at one time used to say, I don't think that I could ever get into a relationship with a person with HIV or AIDS, not because I was fearful of catching it, but fearful of dealing with them dying and didn't know if I could handle that. And now that's kind of behind me. I don't think about that anymore, that it's a non-issue. So I kind of changed, but still it's not a pleasant feeling going to the memorial service.
John, I have to back you up on you exactly the same way, because I'm probably the one that the memorial service affects the most probably in our chapter, because I, like you, felt like I was just saw people that were dying, and was like, who's dying this week? Because they were dying so fast and so often. I cannot go in the memorial service. But things have changed to some degree. I'm able to deal with things with AIDS issues a lot better than I've ever did before. The organization has helped me with information, and members have been supportive. Because some cases that you didn't have time to worry about how you felt. The need outweighed your fear or your problems, and that's only helps to make you grow. That's all.
How have you seen race relations change, if at all, during the time you've been involved with the